Hi, you're very welcome. And I just want to show you here, this is the file that I downloaded from the website about temperature readings at Malin Head in the northern part of Ireland from 1958. And I wanted to do a little bit of experimentation with it. So I actually got Copilot to clean it up for me. Okay, so just a reminder again, it needs to be converted to a table. It needs to be saved as an Excel workbook. Autosave needs to be on. You need to save it to OneDrive first. And I kind of came up with it here. So this is the starting point with it, and then I then got the cleaned version, which I'm just going to open up now. Okay. Now this actually looks pretty good, but what I discovered, because I actually did a trial run on this already, what I discovered is that even though the dates look okay, and I should have checked this, even though the dates look okay, they're actually over to the left and they're not actually numbers. And I only found that out when I did the pivot table. So one of the ways I should have checked is I should have gone over here and I should have done a little thing like is number, just to check if it's a number. And it says false. Okay, so straight away that kind of tells me it isn't a number. And the quickest way to get around that is if I come up here to date and then just go to data and little text to columns. This is a handy little trick. And then just go to next and next again. And just put in as a date, format it as a date, and then click finish. And now if I check it over here, so I just do the same thing again, equals is number. Yeah, now it's a number, okay? But just if you're doing this, just to be aware of that, because I got caught on that. Also the same thing here with the time. And I just did the same one with that. I went to data, and I went to text to columns, and then I just go to next, and I leave it as is next, and I just make sure I leave it on, say date. No, I might just leave it on general, and then click finish. I see now it's actually registering as time. Okay, and I'll just go is number for this one. Yeah, that's fine then. All right. Now, when I actually go and run a pivot off this, it should be better. Okay. So I come up here to insert and then table and then click OK. And then I'm going to go to summarize a pivot table, new worksheet. And I'm just going to drag my date down into my rows to that one because I want to do a timeline on this one. And notice this what it does here is it now kind of basically puts the years, groups the dates into this. And I'm going to remove everything but the year. So just remove that off, move that off, move that off. And then I'm going to add temperature. And I'm going to add temperature 3 times because I'm going to show the average, the max, and the min. Okay, so I'm just going to temperature, just call this temperature, average temp. Okay, so right click, summarize values by, change that to average. And then this one I'm going to right click, show values as, summarize values by, and just go to max. I'm just going to call this max temperature. And I'm going to go to this one, right click, summarize values by a min. Let's get the lowest values. I just go min temperature. I'm just going to change the average of that temperature. Value field settings, I'm just going to change it to 2 decimal places. Actually, I'll just make it 1 decimal place so it's kind of matching up with the other ones. And then click OK. Next step then is I come up here to pivot chart. And I'm going to go to line chart and I click OK. And there's that one. All right. Now the data is looking a bit kind of tweaky, so I'm just going to go back into sheet 1. And I'm just going to do control arrow down to the bottom. Yeah, it has this end data thing that I forgot to remove. So just control and minus. Then control arrow up again. And I'm just going to refresh my data. Right click and refresh. Okay. That one there. I don't know why it did that now. I'll just go back into the date again. No idea why it disappeared there. All right, and I'm just going to remove the all right, and that looks a bit better then. Now, once I've got this done, I'm going to add a trend line. I'm going to add a slicer. So just come up here to plus, trend line, linear. I'm just going to do the average first. There we go, that one. And then I go to max, click on the max one, linear again. And you can see there the temperature is steadily rising, and just linear again. Okay. That one. Now I'm going to add a slicer. So just go to pivot table analyze. I'm going to add a slicer for, let's say, the instrument name. And I'm just going to resize it the number of columns. So I just clicked on the slicer, come up here to this one, columns, and just change that to 3. And resize it and put it up here. And then the other one thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a timeline. So again, click on the pivot table, and just go to insert timeline. And this, I need it for the date. And then click OK. So to use a timeline feature in pivot tables, you need to, the column that you base it on has to be formatted as a date, which is why I was running into problems earlier, which I didn't show here. I'll just change this to years. So let's say I can come over to this one, and I could show from 1958 maybe to 1968. That one there. So you see there, you can kind of see the trend with it, and then if you want to clear it, you can. All right. Okay. Hope you found that useful, and any questions or comments, always happy to hear them. Mind yourself and take care.